welcome back to the Hearthstone Global Games. And first things first, very quick correction on the end of the last series. Sadly, we were wrong about Sweden's score. They're now 3-3, meaning they are eliminated from the Hearthstone Global Games. And it's Hong Kong that should be through, not guaranteed through, but should be through, as they now have the 4 wins with the 2 losses. But Sweden out, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame for Cobain, who wanted to play them in the top 16, but just put the curse upon them so we don't get to see that Scandinavian matchup in the top 16. But Hong Kong delighted to be going through and continuing their success from the Asia Games, so on a bit of a roll right now. Next
up, though, we've got a really exciting one. These guys are in the category where they should already be through. Taiwan and the United Kingdom. Tom, 60229, HQ Shaxi, HQ Roger, and Real versus the United Kingdom. Ball Control, Green Sheep, Jackie Chan, and Toast Monster. Again, both of these teams have 4 wins already. The question is, which of these teams can get up to 5?
Yeah, everyone's looking to make that guaranteed spot right now. They should both be okay anyway, but it's a better seeding, better placing, and guaranteeing it is good. Taiwan, absolutely massively strong lineup, but the United Kingdom have been one of the better teams in terms of preparation and bringing new cards and stuff this time around.
More to the point, though, more exciting, I guess, about this matchup is it's all about caster predictions, because Taiwan is Derek and United Kingdom is Dan Gaskin.
And they've both been very lucky.
That's fair.
But who's the first person to get somebody in the top 16 is what I want to know.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out.
It was Norway. It was me.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Humble brag there.
That's the first time I've had a chance to be bottom of the list the whole time.
Let's take a look at the picks and bans for this series. First up, ban on both sides, it's the Odd Warrior again. Odd Warrior ban first seems to be a common trend nowadays.
It makes such a mess of your other lineups when you can't really bring all control. So you have to bring those aggro decks that just get destroyed by the Odd Warrior, and getting rid of it is a big deal. We are seeing Rogue survive more and more often at the moment, but it's a bit of a mishmash between Odd Rogue and Quest Rogue anyway. And I think both of the ones this time around are Odd Rogues, which makes a lot of sense.
I'll tell you what, though. Banning Odd Warrior straight off the bat like that does speed up these series significantly.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a good point.
Now let's take a look at how these matches are going to play out. I haven't seen this yet, Lorinda. I haven't had a chance to look at the deck list as I was casting the last one, so you'll have to tell me. We've got Shaxi on the Warlock and Ball Control on the Paladin.
So that is going to be Zoo versus Odd Paladin, which should be pretty rapid game number 1. Game number 2, Roger is going to be on the Control Priest, and Toast Monster is going to be on the Good Shaman. Then we have what is apparently a Hunter mirror match, but we all know that Boar Control has been perfecting his Subject 9 beastie, secrety new version of Hunter, so it'll be interesting to see how that gets on about Death Rattle, and then we'll worry about the other 2 when they get there. Going to be a pretty close match all the way along. There's no complete walkover games here, so going to be a tussle to see who can get the most stuff done in this one.
Yeah, just whizzing my eyes across the deck list as we look at that screen and as you were talking. Whizzing all over the place. But yeah, I mean, Zoo versus Odd Pally, as you said, this is going to be quick. And I'm already looking at Control Priest versus Good Shaman, or Mid-Range Shadowwalk Shaman, whatever you'd like to call it. That's going to be an interesting game we've got coming up.
Yeah, I like watching Good Shaman play, as you know. We don't see enough of it. I'm still surprised we don't see more of it. But I think the United Kingdom have been, as I was saying a minute ago, probably the most innovative team, or the team more prepared to bring not necessarily like flashy new amazing decks, but bits and pieces of tech in their lineup. Just little bits and pieces like playing Mossy Horror in Zoo, for instance. It's not unheard of, it's been seen, but they always seem to have those up-to-date bits and pieces of tech, give themselves more options to work with.
The thing is about the Shaman that concerns me is that, so I spent pretty much the whole day Friday trying to get a good ladder finish, essentially slamming my head against the wall, not getting anywhere. But anyways, I played a lot of ladder, and I didn't queue up into any Good Shaman, except when I queued into Crane.
Who loves the deck, and has got rank 1 legend with the deck at one point.
But like, the fact that only the guy that created the deck was playing it just rings some alarm bells.
I mean, Braggy, I don't know why Braggy comes up in all my casts, but
you like
he played Barnes Hunter for the longest time before anybody took it up. He played it for about a year or so until it actually really mattered. And he was getting rank 1 legend, and the same argument was made, like, well, why can only one guy play this deck? Well, because it takes a while to learn a specialist deck, and Good Shaman is a specialist deck.
Yeah,
this, however, isn't the Good Shaman. This is just going to be the Zoo versus the Paladin.
Oh, this isn't a Shaman? Okay.
No, it's not, Dan.
That was supposed to sound more sarcastic than that. Okay.
You don't do sarcasm. Who's been teaching you sarcasm? You've been hanging out with Sottle again.
Let's get on with this game. Shaxxi's opening hand is really interesting, and I think it highlights why mulliganing as the Zoo is very difficult nowadays. He's got Voodoo Doctor. He's got Happy Ghoul. These cards have to be worth considering the keep on.
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me, but then the rest of your hand is kind of ploppy if you don't have something to go with those. And maybe you don't want the Voodoo Doctor, maybe you want the Enchanter, but then you've got to wait till turn 3 to achieve anything, because you'd have to tap on turn 2. And so they are going to just keep the Voodoo Doctor and the Happy Ghoul, and this gives them turn 1 plays into potential tap, and everything gets better. Mech-Aru played straight away, nothing else to do here for Boar. His early hand looks pretty awful, but when those corridor creepers come to play, the game will change around rapidly.
Yeah. The problem is, they are going to be a few turns away. The advantage the ball control has is that he can hero power every turn. He's got the Champion's Maul, which is going to be 2 more 1/1s, and also the weapon on turn 3. So it is looking like a pretty good curve for the United Kingdom. The question is, can they keep up with Taiwan, who are going to have, once they get that Voodoo Doctor down, a very, very fast turn. It can't even be next turn, right? They can go tap, coin, Voodoo Doctor, Happy Ghoul, Happy Ghoul. That's insane.
That does seem kind of good, and again is the reason why they didn't keep the Fungal Enchanter. So they're going to go wider than the Paladin to start with. That is a massive deal. The Corridor Creeper's only having 2 attack. I mean, that should be 5/5s really, this card, but it is only a 2/5. And that's going to be also a big deal.
Yeah, why did they make Corridor Creeper so weak?
Yeah, why didn't they make it good? Already a decision for Boar whether to bump or not. If they bump, then the Maul can be used on other things next turn. And in theory, they should be able to go wider than the Zoo. Of course, the big deal when you're playing at Zoo as the Paladin is, what do you do about the Despicable Dreadlords?
We've already got classic ball control thinking mode. Look at that.
Yep.
Fingers on temples. Let's go.
I mean, he has... we talk about the UK a lot. We know the players very well, obviously, as we are from there. And they are strong players. But this Taiwan team is incredibly strong.
Has the world champion on it.
Yeah, amongst other things. I mean, their achievements between them are just insane. We're going to see all of these guys in action, I believe, at playoffs next week. As I just fumble through my notes in the most pathetic manner. We're going to see some of them anyway, for sure. The APOC playoffs, and their tour stop record is also one of the best national records there is.
Yeah. Shaxxi's hand has ended up in a really strange position here, because any minion he draws, he can play both Soul Infusions and it will hit that minion. It's meant to be the leftmost card, not the rightmost card.
Yeah, that is a bit bizarre.
The Solarium also playable, but it does seem a little bit early for that. Not quite enough mana to make use of the cards drawn.
We're only playing 1 Giggling Inventor, I should point out here. I think Giggling Inventors, because they're getting hated out as much as they can be in this meta, I think they're slowly but surely being cut very slightly from some decks where they're not non-essential. You're giggling, Dan.
I'm just waiting for the Lorinda. You know what? Giggling Inventor's not as good as everyone thinks it is, Ran.
It's a good card. The fact it's having to be hated out means it's a good card, simple as that. But it is being hated out, and because of that, it is starting to fall back in numbers in a lot of decks. Next turn is pretty ridiculous for Boar. Obviously, Corridor Creeper is the answer to the Dreadlord potential issue. But with the 4/4 Keleseth hanging around, they're going to have to deal with that to make sure that the Keleseth can't bump into a Corridor Creeper and then get Dreadlorded away, most likely. Somebody said something immensely funny in the UK chat as well, I think. Because Boar's actually laughing.
Wow.
Exactly.
Despicable Dreadlord is not a card that we see too often in Zoo. Do you think it's coming more and more into fashion as time goes on?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good card in Zoo, personally. I think it depends on the popularity of Paladin.
Yep.
In this tournament, you have a pretty good chance of running into Paladin. It seems to be left up a lot. And because it's not particularly exciting deck, it's not a bad deck, it's just very one-dimensional. A lot of these teams feel that they would rather play complicated decks because there's 4 of them, gives them more of a chance to outplay their opponents. But Paladin, you have to bring a Paladin deck. I know we've seen 1 or 2 others. There's quite a bit of OTK Paladin and on ladder right now. But in general, this is just the best Paladin deck by too much.
Gotta say, that's such an awkward draw there for Taiwan. I mean, they're happy to play 2 3-mana 3/4s for 4 mana, but they wish they had 1 more mana that turn, so they could instead make them 5/6s.
I mean, they played 2 0-mana 3/3s. How much mana do they want?
Yeah, true.
Can't have everything.
Tell that to Druid.
Yeah. Good point. Well made. Ball control, which is level up, gave everything +3/+3 right now. But that's also not the situation we're in.
I wish I was good at Hearthstone.
Yeah, there's wishing and then there's like, oh dear. Well, this Fungalmancer is going to be a big deal because it means that the Corridor Creepers basically get the stats that I was talking about from the level up, going to survive these trades.
They are much nicer trades than having to trade 3/3 Silverhand Recruits into those Cyanide Chain Gangs, and it looks like the United Kingdom have managed to significantly pull ahead this turn. Despicable Dreadlord still does some serious work if drawn now.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't trade in here. I know they need it to be a top deck, but I'm surprised they didn't just get rid of this. But you're not trading in 1/1s, you're trading in 3/3s is the problem because the level up next turn.
But Shaxi find themselves again wishing they had 1 more mana so they could go Solarium into Despicable Dreadlord. They seem to have been in this weird position now for several turns where the play they've made has been okay, but with 1 more mana, it would have been stellar.
I like the look on Boar's face here. He knows the risk he took there. It was protecting this level up. And I think we're seeing more and more from the very best players. It's what's setting them apart from the strong players, the good players, the top 500 players. Is this ability to really realise that if they haven't got it, we just win with this play. If they have got it, well, we can find a way to deal with it, so it's okay. And just taking chances at the right times. He knows that this could just go wrong. You can see from his face that where's the Dreadlord? What do we do if it comes?
Soul Infusion, that's not a Dreadlord, that's probably pretty good. That's just a 3-mana 6/6, not even popping any Divine Shields. That's pretty good for us too.
And now the relief on his face as the Gambit pays off, and now he's just going to be able to insert all of this damage into his opponent's face.
18 damage going to the face right now. That is too much for Taiwan to keep up with. 7 health remaining. They're going to need a very good draw to win this game, and that's not it.
Yeah, the damage has been inserted. They're going to need to draw a Malfurion lookalike and then gain 27 armor, gain 9 mana and draw 12 cards. And that still might not be enough. Unless you draw Druid cards. But Vine Cleaver's going to get the job done nearly. Can I add? I can't add, it's 1 off, right?
It is 1 off. 1 damage. But now
whoop, big whoop.
The Zoo can't tap. Well, I guess they can tap. They can go Fungal Enchanter, then tap, and then yay, you've got 2 mana left. Good luck.
Tap. I don't think they can tap very well.
Well, they'll have to Fungal first, then tap, and then they've got 2 mana left.
Ah, I see what you mean. That's what you just said, isn't it?
It is what I just said, yeah.
I should listen to you more.
Sometimes. Can come in handy.
Boar's devastated by the fact this game's going to go on 1 more turn. No, it's not. Don't worry.
Oh, he's excited.
He's very happy today, is Boar.
He is. Look at that. Big thumbs up from Boar Control as the United Kingdom take the first game this series. And, I mean, I'd call that an unfavourable matchup for the UK as well, given that there are Despicable Dreadlords in the Zoolock.
Yeah, it's definitely a close one. The Dreadlord seems to be the be-all and end-all of that matchup. But you can see they could have killed off the Dreadlord if it was played and restarted the game, basically. So I think Taiwan were going to need 2 Dreadlords for that to really go wrong. The UK probably factored that in because they just rebuild the board so quickly when getting rid of the first.
Next up, though, it is going to be, as you said before, Control Priest versus Tempo Shadowwalk Shaman for Toast Monster, commonly referred to as Good Shaman. I'm still really not convinced about how good this Shaman is. And
I know, Dan, I know.
And I want to clarify here. I really like the deck. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy playing against it. I think it's interesting. I think it's great that we see cards like Thrall come back in. I've wanted to see that for quite some time. I'm just not convinced that it's quite powerful enough to compete with the big boys.
It's certainly not consistent.
Okay.
If you don't draw the right cards, if you don't draw your unstable evolutions or whatever, and you get it at the wrong time, things can go wrong. Obviously, there's some anti-synergies. You play your Shudderwock after you play Thrall, and it just turns into an 8/8 and shuts itself down, like Yogg style. There are some things in the deck that aren't consistent, but I think one thing we've had throughout Hearthstone history is arguments over how good inconsistent decks are. I mean, at one point, believe it or not, at some point, Patron was inconsistent. And people were like, is it good? You know, Topsy Priest, another deck that looked fantastic, but again, maybe a bit too inconsistent.
Another thing I'd like to say about the Good Shaman is that I don't think it's going to be very good against Control Priest, because Psychic Scream will hurt that deck so badly. You build up a big board with unstable evolutions, it gets screamed away. And one thing that the Tempo Shaman tends to do is run out of cards.
Yeah, the Death Knights are absolutely crucial in this, especially Hagatha.
Right.
Get yourself some reload with Hagatha early on, and just the good thing with the deck, you can sort of force them to Psychic Scream non-optimal boards. Like you play Unstable Evolution on just 2 Sound Knight Chain Gang dudes, and suddenly you've got a board that probably demands a Psychic Scream.
Okay.
You know, especially if you do 2 or 3 of each evolves. Get rid of that, then drop your Hagatha, and then start again, and suddenly you can really put the priest under pressure. You can heal enough to get out of sight.
So it's about resource management. It's about the hero cards, Hagatha being the big one. Playing around Duskbreaker, playing around those Psychic Screams. I think this is going to be difficult for Toast Monster on the Shaman here.
Interesting to see how they handle their Kalimos should they draw it as well. Healing for 12 after you've been Alex Strazed is also a big deal.
Hang on. What are those bed sheets, Toast Monster?
I don't know.
That doesn't look very patriotic.
I mean, it's, you know, showing support for other teams in the tournament. But you're right, that's not the most patriotic. Unless he's...
Should probably note the irony to the situation here.
Yeah, a little bit awkward. Why, Toast Monster? Why? I mean, it's better than a bath of toast, right? It's probably more comfortable.
Yeah,
Bath full of toast does not sound like A, it's comfortable, and B, gets you very clean.
Now, Toast Monster actually kept Thrall and Giggling Inventor here. What do you make of that?
I mean, that's a fantastic combination of cards. It's very hard for the priest to remove the Giggling Inventor on turn 5 or turn 4 if they want to go that route. And then Thrall the turn after just gives you a 6 mana card, which is usually one of the best numbers. And obviously, you know, your Annoyatrons evolve a little bit as well. So your Thrall instantly just gives you a much, much better board state. Picking up the Chain Gang may mess things around. This Kalimos will sit in hand forever, by the way. Okay. I believe they'll want to use that after Primordial Drake, after Alex Strazed is played for 12 points of healing, and just say to the priest, you know, what you're going to do, how you're going to kill us.
The doctor is in.
There aren't actually that many elementals in this deck, are there? There's Fireflies, there's Electra, there's Tar Creeper.
That's about it, usually.
Yep.
But it's okay, because normally you drop your Firefly and then you just keep the second part. But you do have to manage it. It is one thing that's wrong with Kalimos in this deck, and we've seen some people running other cards instead at the moment. My brain just shut down there for a second. Is sometimes you set up the Kalimos turn and then your opponent does something that says Kalimos is too slow, and then you've wasted an elemental, and that can lead to some difficulty.
But then the flip side is you get the ideal scenario where you play Kalimos on turn 8, and then you can play Shudderwock on turn 9, and because Kalimos was played the turn prior, then you get Kalimos effect again from Shudderwock. That can be pretty insane.
Yeah, very little health gain though otherwise in this. And like you say, you can sometimes get that Shudderwock double Kalimos, although it is a random effect. You don't get the same.
Yeah.
But it's usually good to just get a Kalimos effect. Can be a bit of a pain when it fills your board up with potato men.
Toast Monster looks like he's having to consider here whether or not he wants to lightning bolt this 3/4, which isn't ideal. I guess he was hoping for a spell damage totem to make that slightly easier, because then they could coin into Sour Knight and then just play Thrall on curve.
Yeah, it's not fun for them. This Sour Knight definitely is going to get eaten up by this medic if they're not careful. And this is what they were scared of as well, this potential power word shield here.
So it was definitely right to consider playing that lightning bolt that turn, because again, they could still go coin Sour Knight into Thrall after.
Yeah, I'd have liked to have seen it. Your lightning bolts They're weird in this deck. They're not that great, but you only have the 2. You have to use them very sparingly. And now, by not making that decision, they have left themselves in a bit of a pickle.
They could still go coin giggling and then Thrall the turn after. They're giving Roger some draws, but then they do get the 7-mana card from Thrall. They're going to go with that. Wow.
Yeah.
Just try and get the earliest, most aggressive Thrall possible. They've lost the board. They need to get it back somehow.
I'm not sure what Toasty's upset about there. Nothing ridiculous seemed to happen. Maybe he's just covering his eyes because he doesn't want there to be a dust breaker. And if that's what he wanted, he's going to be disappointed. However, it still sets up a 1-mana corridor creeper.
Yeah.
It's pretty tasty into a chain gang.
But if that was a 0-mana corridor creeper, then Thrall could still be played this turn. However, this is just not good for Toast Monster now, is it? Like you said, Corridor Creeper into Sour Knight is okay, except the 3/3s on the board, the 3/2 and the 3/3 on the board just eat up the Sour Knights.
Well, he Lightning Bolt's one of the most likely. So he'll Lightning Bolt the 3/3, play a 0-mana corridor, drop down a Sour Knight to challenge the 3/2.
You're right, that's much better.
Which seems okay. But of course, they're only 2 turns from Psychic Scream. And they've got enough follow-up for later. Electra's a pretty big deal. Especially if you do get the Hagatha going, then you can do some disgusting things with Electra.
I was going to ask, actually, what is the ideal target for Electra, do you think?
Yeah, normally just the Lightning Bolt for 6 points for lethal against a lot of decks.
Sure.
But it's pretty good with Lightning Storm against, say, Token Druid.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes you just get like double healing running from Hagatha when you're on 6 health and just win the game.
Electra into fully upgraded Shaman Spellstone. It's probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably. I've never seen it, but that sounds really ridiculous.
Multiple duplicates of whichever minion is targeted.
I've followed the flavor text on Electra sometimes and used it on the coin.
Oh.
The flavor text is like.
What's it say?
It's something like the coin you used. You made me double the coin. I can't remember exactly. It's much more funny than I could ever come up with. But basically, she's just saying you used me on the coin. What?
So yeah, basically, don't go prep coin or prep backstab or Electra coin. Don't do those things.
Electra coin's okay.
I guess it can be.
It's actually okay. Electra coin into, not necessarily on turn 3, but Electra coin into MC Tech or something like that can be a play.
Okay.
If say turn 4 or 5.
Then is it not just better to play the MC Tech and play Electra later?
Then you haven't got an Electra on the board.
Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, against more aggressive decks, I see that. Okay, well now Corridor Creeper Thrall is an option. So is Corridor Creeper Fungalmancer, actually. Maybe that's better.
It might be better, and the Fungalmancer can then be evolved as well next turn, but you are playing heavily into Psychic Scream if you go that way.
Playing into Psychic Scream with any Thrall play, to be completely honest.
You are, but the more minions you have in your hand, the more you can just start evolving those minions every turn when, when you reload. And they do get scary pretty quick. Tends to be the even numbers you want is how it works out. The even numbers tend to be the ones without the battle cries that have the bigger stats, and the odd numbers tend to be the battle cry doofuses that are just too small.
Confirmed by Lorinda. Even decks are just better than odd decks.
Interesting.
Categorically. Objectively.
Objectively correct. It's only a rule of thumb, but definitely in general, if you're on an odd number and you're thinking whether to evolve, that's the one you should go for.
It's Thrall time. Let's go. We get a 6-drop and a 9-drop here. This is going to be a powerful board. He says. Yeah, okay. 3/7 and 3/15.
Put those in my deck. I dare you.
I mean, United Kingdom already has another hero card. Just put another hero card in.
And Psychic Screaming in a Jiraxis is actually pretty terrifying for Taiwan.
I know Jiraxis isn't actually a hero card. Sorry, everyone. But it functions in a very similar way.
Is it not a hero card?
It's a minion. That's why it's on the board right
now. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's how it works.
It actually has an attack.
That's why it can be sack-pacted. Okay. Well, it does the same thing like you were saying.
It does.
See why you're making the distinction now.
It was interesting to me, actually. Like, I was wondering when hero cards came out properly, I was wondering if they were going to make Jiraxis one and change it so it gains armor instead of sets the health. But nope.
Don't like change.
Good old Jiraxis stays the way he's always been.
And you can see from Roger's reaction here, it's like, I really don't want to give them these 2 prime pieces of real estate in their deck.
I guess Sunkeeper Tarim is pretty good in Tempo Shaman, actually.
It's not so good now the ability's gone, the hero power's gone, but it's still pretty tasty.
Lots of fireflies and generation and things.
So if Jirax is a 416, do you get 16 armor? And 4 attack? That's not how it works, right?
I hope not.
That's not what the card says.
It already confused me enough that Dr. Boom gives you 7 armor when played. 7 mana, 7/7s confuse me.
They confuse me too, Dan.
Fungalmancer, hero power. Nah, that's not great, is it?
Keleseth Chain Gang. Oh, you might want to keep the Chain Gang so you can insta-evolve one.
So maybe just Chain Gang, hero power.
That's just a wasted turn, though.
Is it? Get a 5-drop and a 4-drop.
Maybe you Keleseth Chain Gang and just don't get the evolve. I mean, it's really tough.
I feel like the hero power is too good to not use.
I think you're right. You're evolving a 2/3 into a 5-drop. Yeah, you've got to be right. And I agree with you. Do you laugh when people fall downstairs as well?
No, I thought it was funny because my original joke suggestion was Fungalmancer into hero power. And they've sort of ended up doing that backwards.
Yeah.
All right, attempt 2. Let's buff up this Sour Knight Chain Gang and see what that gives us.
Yeah, Fungalmancer onto the Chain Gang doesn't seem that great. Nothing else seems good.
We're evolving it.
Thrall and his Shrink Ray are having a really bad day. That is absolutely... All that could be funnier right now is if just somebody fell down the stairs or down a well or something.
Oh man, that wouldn't be funnier than this.
I think Dan's lost it. Finally, we've broken Dan. This is why he doesn't like this deck. He can't play it because of all the tears streaming down his face.
About? You said this deck's good. What have I just watched?
I told you it was a little bit inconsistent. Toast Monster's obviously just not good at this deck.
Well, this is awkward, to say the least.
Yeah, it is. I can't even come up with a better yeah than that. It just isn't the best spot to be in. Something you pointed out very much at the start is the lack of card draw can be an issue, but you know, with a Hagatha and a Jiraxxus in your deck, good stuff can still happen. But they also haven't got... I have got an element, so they might have to play Electra now, actually. That's a decent pickup. That allows them to get rid of one of the Drakes.
The value trades... Well, the trades aren't ideal, though, are they?
No, I mean...
Everything still has to be traded in. And as you said, Toast Monster also can't heal this turn. He can value trade the MC tech and then evolve it, I guess, though I think he'd probably prefer to evolve the Fungalmancer.
I think you play Electra and Fungalmancer here, and then you trade in and just take it, and then next turn at least you can play Kalimos and heal for 12.
But then you're not doing anything else next turn.
Right, it's not fun.
It's still not dealing with Alexstrasza. Heal for 12, then take another 8.
Maybe they evolve and try and get something taunty and fun then. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Well,
it's not a 1-1 or a 2-2, so there's that.
15 damage on board. I mean, they're dead to so many things here. None of them are actually happening.
There's one Mind Blast, which is 13 damage, but with 16 health. Toast Monster is just about still in this game.
Yeah, remember you can always evolve things into charge minions. Should they pick up, like, Unstable Evolution, you can sometimes get 2 charge minions in a turn.
Gonna just draw some cards.
Yeah, and get rid of this pesky 5-1 in the same time. Because then there's sort of no danger of ridiculousness killing them. And it looks very much like Taiwan are going to get this done. Oh. The stuff.
There's Anduin.
Yeah, not much was saving the United Kingdom from this chain of events.
Toast Monster needs to heal and clear the board. He can't do either.
He can stick a Lich King in the way and kill 2 minions, though.
Cool.
It's not going to work for him because the Lich King's going to get borrowed by Taiwan.
Is there a 6-mana card that has Rush and Lifesteal that United Kingdom can use to... Wait, no, the Harpy's 6 mana. Is there a 7-mana card that has Rush and Lifesteal?
Let's find out. I'm sure that Toast Monster will get one if there is.
He's more likely to get a 1-1. Close enough.
And plenty of ways of doing this, but stealing with Cabal seems the nicest. And Roger is going to equalise this for Taiwan. It's going to be 1 game apiece in this battle to go to 5 wins in the Hearthstone Global Games 2018.
Yep, I mean, the Shaman put up a bit of a fight there, but unfortunately 2 incredibly unfortunate evolves in a row was what it took to put the UK on the back foot and put Taiwan in a great position to win that game.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people don't like that deck. That is a thing that can happen, and trying to work out how often that happens. Okay, you can maths it, but in the real world, mathsing every single situation of something like that is just a bit too mathsy. And so you go with feel, and some people get a lot good feel for the deck, and some people get a feel for the deck like Dan does, which is it's rubbish. So it just depends on what your personal experience has been.
I didn't say rubbish. I just said I don't think it can compete with the other big decks at the moment. I think Shadowhawk Shaman, regular Shadowhawk Shaman, is still just that little
Dan speak for rubbish.
Consistent. When we come back, we will be playing out the rest of the series. The next matchup is going to be Death Rattle Hunter versus Subject 9 Hunter. So don't go anywhere. We're back soon. It's Taiwan versus the United Kingdom. The score is 1-1. Both teams battling it out to see which can end the day on 5 wins in the HGG Swiss. And it's been pretty evenly matched so far.
Pretty evenly matched. Both teams playing reasonably quickly. A little bit of comfort in the UK team. Ball control even smiling today. That's because both teams are likely already through. Although I'm sure they would like not only that #1 seed, but also, yeah, the word likely has been seen before in Swiss competitions.
Yeah.
Bad things have gone on to happen.
Yeah, we don't like likelies or maybes or probablys or shoulds.
Dan likes facts. Wrong Dan.
Wrong Dan, yeah.
Dan.
And
What are
like
you normally
Dan.
with Derek anyway? What are you doing here?
Where's Derek? Derek, get over here. Derek is just trotting the globe at the moment. He's on his way here via private jet, I'm sure, as we speak, trying to get here to cast that last series. We'll see if he makes it.
Yeah, using Raven's own personalised Raven.
Raven's own person, Raven's
You always copy what I say.
Next up, it's going to be Death Rattle Hunter for Taiwan versus the mid-range hunter, the Subject 9 Hunter for Ball Control, which... Sorry, for Jackie Chan, for the UK. It's Ball Control's deck. It's Ball Control's creation. And he has started with it in the opening hand. Lorinda, is that a keep or is that a mulligan?
I have no idea. I'm not Jackie Chan.
Are you Ball Control?
Why am I even here? I think you keep it because it thins out a lot of the gubbins from your deck. And when you thin that gubbins out, you should be able to have better draws. It's not the greatest card.
Thins out gubbins. So I'm making notes.
Dan's trying to learn.
I'm learning this matchup, and now what I have is you keep Subject 9 because it thins out the gubbins.
So, good. I'm glad I'm teaching you well. You have Secret Keepers, you have obviously the Spell Stones, which means that if you draw them later and you've already got rid of the secrets from your deck, you're in a better spot. But it's not a deck I play a lot, and that's why. Mainly because it's been around for 2 days.
Threw it away.
Here.
Wow, I'm genuinely surprised that he threw it away. I also expected the keep there, but hey, if anyone knows how to play Subject 9, it is the controller of balls himself. Jackie's hand ends up looking good, though. We expect that the Subject 9 Hunter's probably favoured in this matchup.
Right, and the reason we think that is because of the tempo, and that's might be why they throw away the 5 mana 4/4.
Yep, it's all coming together now, isn't it, Lorinda? Death Rattle Hunter tends to be good against the slower, more control-y based decks, as it has this explosion in the middle of the game and then just doesn't let up thanks to Rexstar. Subject 9 Hunter is a very aggressive deck, which tends to be Death Rattle Hunter's weakness.
And Jackie Chan already faced with a decision whether to play the Rat Trap, which seems ideal, or whether to go even more ridiculous and go for Coin Animal Companion. And this pick of Explosive Trap might change his mind, because it would give him 2 traps on turn 4, as well as having the board with these 2 Animal Companions on turns 2 and 3.
Nope, me go face.
Oink.
Jackie looks quite happy about that.
And
I can just imagine Ball Control last turn just saying, no, we just play Huffer this turn. We just play Huffer.
yeah. And this is much better than having to wait 3 more turns for drawing a lot of secrets. Just draw the secrets anyway. How many secrets are in this deck? I'll have a quick count. It's just 6, 8, 10. Just 10.
Only 10.
So you are going to always draw secrets anyway, obviously.
Wow. And Secret Paladin used to think they ran a lot of secrets.
How many did they used to run? Like 7 or 8, right?
Yes.
So you ran a lot of one-offs. Oh, actually, this is the same. I'm being dumb.
What, 7 or 8?
Yeah, it's that sort of number. It might even be 6. There's 1 explosive, 1 freezing, 1 rat,
Hang on.
1 venom strike.
Did 10 just turn into 6?
It's turned into 8.
Okay.
There's 5.
Okay, note to self, never let Lorinda count anything.
7. If you type exclamation mark deck lists in the chat right now, you can count for yourselves how many secrets are in this deck. But it's somewhere between 6 and 10, I promise. Dan's delirious today. I don't know what we've done to him.
Where's Derek? Give me Derek back.
Well, can he count to 7?
I hope so.
And United Kingdom working out here, obviously, whether to get more damage into the face or whether to do this trade. If they don't do the trade, the dangers are that Activator we played on this.
Can confirm it's 7.
Thank you.
I have only counted it once, but I'm assuming that that's correct.
If you count it several times, you get loads of different entertaining outcomes.
Oh, that spider one was awkward, wasn't it?
It was, but they dealt with it now, otherwise it would have got terror scaled and then it'd been even more awkward and cleared the entire board. So having something when you're trying to get a tempo situation set up is of course better than having nothing. I'm on fire right now.
Jackie's hand is looking pretty good at the moment though. Yeah, explosive trap's kind of awkward with the candle shot. Obviously candle shot makes the hero immune, which means explosive trap potentially does nothing. But setting up for the spellstone on 5, upgraded twice, does look tempting. Mossy Horror also fantastic for turn 6 after Giggling Inventor gets played.
What's interesting to me in this deck is Boar has dropped the Stitch trackers, and there are not that many minions in the deck. Before he was playing, obviously in the older version, you'd play just 3 specific minions, so your tracker always found the right one.
It's a much more aggressive mid-range deck now, isn't it? With Diamoles, with Crackling Razor Maws, with Bear Sharks, I believe. No, he's...
Yeah, right, so this is the problem I was having when I was going through this deck list. It's actually pretty alien.
Huh? This isn't Ball Control's list, is it?
Well, I have no idea. I mean, I have some idea, obviously, or I wouldn't be sat here talking about Hearthstone.
I was pretty certain there were Bear Sharks in this deck.
This is a very UK list. I suspect that Jackie's put his own slant on the deck, as it does change pretty rapidly. Obviously, it is a new deck. And they've really gone tight on everything. They've gone tight on the secrets. They've gone tight, especially on the Crackling Razor Maw, with only the Diamole and some of the traps to really work with. But what they have got is the Spellstone and a lot of secrets, and that usually spells damage for your opponent.
I guess Taiwan have to consider not attacking in case it's Wandering Monster. As we can see, attacking is just strictly correct before the minion gets played because it's Explosive Trap and Secret does nothing. But Taiwan, the mind games of Hunter Secrets does their job here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Taiwan haven't even counted how many there are.
Maybe. It's pretty hard to actually do that.
Interesting, the one they went for 2 of is the Snake Trap. That's sort of... It's interesting because it's not particularly standard to.
It's a lot of board presence, I guess. I guess that's what this deck is going for. Lots of minions to buff with Houndmaster. Not Houndmaster Shaw, just regular Houndmaster. You did hear that correctly.
Taiwan need a lot of good things to happen on this turn. I don't see them happening. If they don't, they're going to get Mossy Horrored and done for a lot. And I mean a lot. I'm not going to count it because obviously I'm having accidents whilst counting. But a lot of damage. And follow it with the Eagle Horn Bow and the Hero Power.
Yeah, Rial seems to be on the clock here with not much time left and nothing really in his hand that's going to help him survive for much longer. Katharina may be capable of picking up a Witchwood Grizzly or something to buy a little bit of time.
I don't think they get that far. I don't think they get to turn 8.
No, I don't think they do either.
So Taiwan, obviously, not just scared of Mossy Horror, but also scared of Rexar. UK have both, so making sure they get something out of their actual Giggling Inventor before it's too late. And here they are trying to buy themselves that time to get to the turn we're talking about, and might just get there now.
I mean, cubing the Annoyatron means that next turn, Riel can play Terror Scale twice and get 4 more Annoyatrons, but then Mossy Horror can come down. And obviously now, because the United Kingdom know that the Annoyatron is hidden beneath that cube, They're not going to play Mossy Horror this turn.
Yeah, that would have been tempting before, but now they're not. Now they don't really want to Rexar. They've done a lot of damage this game, which means they wouldn't really want to get rid of that hero power until the last minute. This is a strategy we saw from players in Copa.
Bow plus Snake Trap doesn't look too bad.
Both plus Snake Trap or just bow plus hero power is probably the consideration. With 2 secrets up, that bow is going to get a lot of work done.
The disadvantage to playing the Snake Trap is that all of the snakes die to Mossy Horror anyway. So I think, with that being said, I do prefer the hero power with the Acorn Bow. But yeah, okay, Jackie Chan just wants to go full secret here. Full Christmas tree. Who am I? None of your business. It's what Mysterious Challenger used to say.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Even I knew that one.
You gave me a funny look. I wasn't
Yes,
sure.
because whoever you are, you're none of my business. All right, so absolute ridiculous numbers of Annoyatrons going to get blown up by the Mossy Horror picture show in a minute.
I love how Play Dead is available to them as well.
Yeah, it's just going to be extremely Annoyatroning. At least they don't make the battle cry noise when they're made.
I'll do it for you. Hello.
No, don't do
hello,
it. No,
hello.
no.
No, no, no. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh my goodness.
As second Snake Trap picks up, the first one wasn't procced though, so now Jackie Chan, surely it's Mossy Horror time. How can he not play Mossy Horror this turn?
Yeah, he can't expect to play dead as well, but the play is a bit weird looking, because why would you activate them twice and risk a Mossy Horror unless you had more activations?
True.
And things can turn around here for Rio next turn with Katharina.
Could Rexar be played instead of Mossy Horror this turn?
Looking at the Rexar play, it doesn't actually kill enough of the things. So probably not.
There you go. Jackie shrugs at us. He's put Taiwan down to 8 health.
I don't think he knew what to do there with a weapon, but with the prospects of having to face Katharina fetching Witchwood Grizzly, having 1 weapon charge that hits face might be better than 2 that don't. For when the secrets are procced.
Sure.
He's figuring, well, they've now got 4 turns to live with just 4 hero powers. That's if we don't find another way through. So, tricky times here for Real. Let's see how this series of secrets impacts this game. That's 2 more damage, 3 turns to live. Playing around Hunter Secrets is so irritating.
Yeah, it's back to the good old days. Is it Explosive Trap? Is it Freezing Trap? But now, Wandering Monsters, Snake Traps, Venom Strike Traps are also very awkward to play around.
Yeah, that trap's also irritating, because even when you know it's... Oops! That's not what they wanted to happen.
It's not Witchwood Grizzly, is it? And now there are snakes all over the board. Oh, this can't be good.
No. Don't think Real's impressed with this.
Still lethal? Still lethal?
Yep.
Still lethal.
Press the magic green button or kill them with one of these snakes that are in plain sight.
Everyone can see is Jackie Chan, the United Kingdom, go 2-1 in this series. I have to say, Lorinda, the United Kingdom's performance this year has just completely outclassed what they did last year.
Yeah, I think they've got a point to prove, because last year the team didn't seem to synergize particularly well. Still, Jackie and Green Sheep are still here from last year. I think they've taught the team a lot in terms of communication and having fun with it. I mean, Boar is known for being incredibly serious, incredibly sort of deep-thinking character, but even he, not just today when there's a little bit less on the line for them, but all the way through, I think he has had a lot of fun with this event. First couple of weeks, Toast Monster was a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous, but he seems to have relaxed into it too.
We've been getting the big thumbs up from Ball Control, I think, for the last couple of weeks, actually, every time he wins a game. It's always good to see. Let's take a look at what's coming up next. I believe it's going to be Odd Rogue for Taiwan versus a Malagos Druid for Green Sheep.
Yep, dismissing all rumours that Green Sheep can only play aggro. They've stuck him on the Malagos Druid. Just double checking that. It is Malagos Druid. And straight up Malagos, no toggle nonsense going on in this one.
Were you expecting like Living Mana Druid?
Base Druid,
Druid with mulch munchers?
Yeah, I was expecting exactly that from Green Sheep. But no, he is going to play this deck that pretty powerful deck, I would say.
It's very strong. And actually, despite what we've been saying about it not being an aggro deck, the first bit of advice I ever got when I started playing Malygos Druid after this expansion came out was from Theo. He appeared in my stream, and I was saying to him, look, doesn't Malygos Druid struggle in this matchup? Doesn't it struggle in this matchup? And Theo said to me, no, it doesn't. Just treat it like a Smork deck.
And that makes a lot of sense, actually. When we've seen these lineups, obviously with 9 decks, you can't have a full Smork lineup. When we've seen the more aggressive lineups in Hearthstone Global Games, it's always been Malygos Druid. It's always been part of the strategy to be the most realistically aggressive Druid deck that there currently is. Which is odd, because you'd think the token deck is, but that's actually, again, it's got its own weird place. It just sits there and grinds the game out a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's just very aggressive. It's knowing when to play these aggressive Alexstrasas that seem to be one of the big breakpoints, knowing when to go just drop that Malygos and play the Moonfires with Floop in the hand, ready to go. What do you think about this matchup overall, though? Can the Malygos Druid survive for long enough against the Odd Road?
It has a lot of armor gain. It has a lot of things that can get in the way. It has a lot of nuisance tools. Just going to check if it's got MC Tech. It's got 2 MC Techs in this build as well from the UK. So they're ready for this week's matchup. They've taken out some bits and pieces. Well, again, not playing Togwaggle package does help you have various other techs for the early game, and I think they should be fine hanging on here. Combination of just slowing down the rogue, stopping them going from too wide, not just with MC Tech, but with traditional stuff like Spreading Plague. Obviously, you've got the normal things that we all know, the ramp. Should be too much, but then the rogue can sometimes just hit you.
So if Green Sheep wins this game, then the United Kingdom win the series and get through with a 5-1 record in the HGG Swiss. That would be very impressive.
It really would.
But if Green Sheep loses with this Malygos Druid, then it comes down to Taiwan on the Shuttlewalk Shaman versus the UK on Control Priest. And that is a matchup that can go either way.
Yeah, that's a matchup we all want to see. We've seen it a few times. We haven't seen it for a week or two. The Shuttlewalk obviously trying to combo out. Always leads to hilarity when that happens. Because something always goes wrong, either by design or by accident.
I like Green Sheep's hand. Not so sure about it against Odd Rogue, but Double Nourish UI does seem like a nice combination of cards.
I wonder what he's going to keep out of this. You're keeping at least 1 Nourish, right? I feel.
I'm almost certain. What are the other early game cards that he wants? I guess just Spellstone mostly, Wild Growths.
I mean, do you keep the MC Tech? Is it too slow? Probably a little bit too slow.
It's the cheapest minion in the deck.
Exactly. It's only a 3/3. They are just going to keep
Keeping
the
1
1
Nourish.
Nourish.
Yeah, I like this.
And what an awful hand for Tom unless he can draw into a 1-drop. It's not awful because he's got a Thug in it, but the days where Thug with a be-all and end-all of everything are sort of over now.
It's just fledgling as well. Also no longer the be-all and end-all of everything.
And Sheep can just control this board for as long as he needs to get to Nourish. To the point where, dare I say it, he may Nourish for cards because he'll still be in a good shape at that point. It's unlikely.
Maybe? With no Ultimate Infestation in hand, Nourishing for cards is definitely more tempting. Arcane Tyrant can now get played on the same turn.
See how this hand develops. What is going to develop is Green Sheep killing a lot of opposing minions without any real danger. Again, you don't really need to keep a win condition against Rogue. Not dying is your win condition, and then you'll find something. Hit them with a 4/12, I don't know. Something will happen, something will go your way. Plenty of ways of finding damage. One of which is sort of Spreading Plague, Branching Paths, even if it's a small Spreading Plague.
Right.
Tends to finish games off in a hurry.
Now the position Green Sheep's in, he needs to deal with his Hench Clan Thug somehow, and that Spellstone is still 2 armor away from being upgraded. So, he can naturalize it, but that feels rotten. He could coin out Swipe, which also feels rotten.
You can wait till next turn and Moonfire it with Swipe.
Yeah.
I mean, your Moonfire hasn't got a huge number of targets in this game, so backing up a Spellstone with it or whatever is
Well, yeah,
bad.
if he's Moonfiring it, he could do that this turn. He could go Hero Power, hit the Hench Clan, and then go Spellstone Moonfire. I don't think
He
Moonfire...
definitely can.
It's not as vital as a win condition in this matchup, but okay, can you just go with the Naturalize?
Yeah, giving the Rogue 2 cards is nowhere near as horrific as giving the Mage 2 cards. The Mage just points those at your face over the next 2 or 3 turns. The Rogue does have to actually establish its board before it can point things at your face. Except for South Sea Deckhand, Cold Blood, like the stuff we can see. But it does tend to take a bit longer, which means you have time to recover from the downside of the Naturalize. And what else are you going to naturalize? If you're naturalizing Baku later on, you've probably already won.
Yeah, that's true. So now it's up to Taiwan to get themselves back on this board. Fledgling Daimon is just the most powerful play that they could make this turn. And again, that Fledgling, like with the Hench Clan Thug last turn, the Fledgling is saying to Green Sheep, hey, if you don't kill me, I'm going to single-handedly win the game.
Much easier to kill this than last turn, though. Multiple options available now because the Spellstone, as they picked up the Ferocious Howl, they can make Spellstone into a decent unit.
Yep.
Interesting they chose to use a swipe, knowing that Giggling Event is coming up. But they also know their opponents probably won't play the Giggling Inventor because it's coming into their coin-spreading plague turn.
Dusk Fallen Aviana. Potentially the only evolved target worse than Fungalmancer and the 1/1.
I've had that happen. This is just not funny.
It's happened against me once, okay? Once my opponent evolved into that. You know what I did?
You probably UI'd?
I did. I cast the 0-mana Ultimate Infestation next turn to start off my turn.
In my hand would be Moonfire, Moonfire if it happened against me.
Where'd the rest of your cards go?
Probably dropped them behind the sofa or something.
Why does that sound like a real thing to me? Like, I can genuinely imagine you dropping your Hearthstone cards.
Fumbling around, looking for my cards and my glasses and goodness knows what else.
Where did you go, Floop? I just played Malagos last turn.
Plenty of options available here for Green Sheep yet again. Nourishing for mana into killing something with your face, into Coin Spellstone, into double Arcane Tyrant. Uses a lot of stuff, but it does look good. He is actually going to go for the cards though, and you can see why now. You've seen what he's picked up. Triple Tyrant.
Sweet essence.
And he's still going to do most of the things I said anyway, except now he has 4 cards in hand instead of 1, so this is clearly better.
Oh, Floop is such a good card.
You a fan of the Floop?
I am a big fan of the Floop. It's actually said in my Twitter bio, ever since Floop was announced, that I'm a Flipidinous Floop enthusiast.
Interesting.
I mean, I was mostly making fun of the name and how hard the name is to say and how I think I'm going to have to give up casting because I'll never be able to say Flipidinous Floop. But hey, it's not...
I can't say any words, and I'm not giving up casting anytime soon. Sorry, chat. Well, that's turned the game around in a hurry. How does Green Sheep find a way to play 3 4/4s-ish on turn 5? You're not playing aggro anymore, Sheep.
He makes it an aggro deck. One way or another, Green Sheep goes face.
And playing around the MC tech because I know there's 2 of them in the deck, so it's particularly dangerous.
Now it's sort of decision time for Green Sheep though. Like he could go with Giggling Inventor and deal with one of these Annoyatrons, kind of awkward. Or he could go Twig, deal with one of them, still have 2 Tyrants on the board, and start to prepare for a 20-mana turn.
I think in general you go for Twig when given this option. I'm not saying that's correct here. So you start the Twig snowball rolling. That way, that if the game does happen to go on for a little while, because Rogue can hang in there annoyingly long, then you do at least get that option to get that 10-mana turn later on. 2 Blood Knights in the Rogue deck as well, so don't want a Giggling Inventor anytime soon if they can help it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. However, this is a good Fungalmancer from Tom here. And he's able to clear up all of this board and start to put some real pressure into the face whilst still playing around MC Tech. This is looking to me like it forces Green Sheep to play this Giggling Inventor. I guess he could actually draw 2 cards off the Branching Path and then play a Ferocious Howl. That looks quite nice as well. Gain 7 armor.
Excuse me, just sighing away there, well, I think.
Or gain 6 armor, rather. And also draw 3 cards.
I think if you get Giggling Inventor and you get Blood Knighted, you just lose on the spot. That's
Yeah.
the problem that Green Sheep has here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Branching Paths for cards, you're taking 10 that you can see. So you'd be dead to Leroy Coldblood.
But you Branching Paths for cards and then play Ferocious Howl. Because then, then you draw the maximum amount of armor off of the Ferocious Howl.
Okay.
But obviously lose the 12 off of the Branching.
So you do gain 5.
Oh, he could hedge, he could draw 1, gain armor, and then draw and gain
Let's
armor.
see how he feels. A number of times I want to give people cards when I play MC Tech in my deck. Got to be quick if you're Branching Paths. The animation's kind of slow on it. Malfurion looks handy. And because they picked up Malfurion, now they're going to go with the...
I like this a lot, honestly. It just makes sense. Malfurion is the armor gain card. It's the sort of win the game card against Tom. He'd love to see a Spreading Plague or something as well. Obviously, the nature of Odd Rogue means that it cannot run Mossy Horror. It cannot run the anti-Spreading Plague. So, Malfurion's... Whoa, okay, all right.
Who needs a deck anyway?
Way to put your foot on the gas, Tom.
I mean, he's got to, right? He's just seen that Green Sheep was happy with only one card. So he knows that bad things are happening. Doesn't get the Leroy, does get the Cold Blood.
It's not the best Myra's Unstable Element that I've ever seen, actually.
It's not catastrophic, though. There's quite a bit of damage in there.
Like, he got a lot of value with the Blink Fox, with the Hench Clan, with the Vicious Fledgling, but none of these cards are going to win him the game in one turn.
Fungal Monster, SI7. He doesn't need to win in one turn. He probably needs to win in two. Moonfire.
Well, Moonfire does nothing here. It doesn't allow Green Sheep to deal with any minions that he can't already deal with. So Malfurion, as defensive as possible, is looking good. As we can see, there's no Blood Knight in Taiwan's hand either. So Green Sheep doesn't know this, but the Giggling Inventor is safe.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to expect your opponents to have a Vile Spine here too. And there just isn't. You're right, they didn't draw any of their cards. What did they do?
It's just not a good Myra's Unstable Element, is it?
No, it has some immediate damage, but the rest of the longer term stuff, and by longer term I mean 2 turns, it's just not there.
It's just drew all the 3-drops. That's the problem. And it can lead to, a pretty good turn here if they play all the 3-drops, but then Mind Control Tech can do something.
And they are going to have to probably gamble on the Giggling Inventor, which is actually going to be a good result for them because it's going to work out fine.
Sorry, correction. They drew all of the 3-drops except the one they really wanted, which was the Blood Knight.
Is it enough here for the United Kingdom, though? This is still a menacing-looking board.
If they just drew Spreading Plague, they would be fine, but still no Spreading Plague. So is there anything better than MC Tech Giggling Inventor?
They've got to MC Tech the Annoyatron, I feel.
My thoughts are
because that's how choosing things works.
Yes. I mean, okay, if they, worst case scenario, they take the SI7 agent, they play the Giggling Inventor as well. As we can see, there's no Blood Knight. So I believe they would survive. That is the worst case scenario as well. They got it.
So now I think they're stuck into Giggling Inventor. They know they're dead here because your opponent's got to have Vile Spine or Blood Knight. They haven't, so is that enough? SI and the weapon takes down one Annoyatron. The 2 3/3s take down the other Annoyatron. That leaves 14 damage on board. That is going to be game number 4 to Tom 60229, the world champion.
Well, if he can't win a game of Hearthstone, what good is he as a world champion anyway? As he
that's a very good point.
He's certainly earned his title again. And again, Tom is consistent. He's still doing the rounds. He's still playing the tour stops. He is certainly a truly great Hearthstone player.
Yeah, immensely popular, of course, in Taiwan.
Even the president, I think, wrote him a little letter, or wrote to him after he won the championship.
Yeah, what did he say? Dear my good friend Thomas.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tom just buddied up with me, put his arm around me, showed me the letter, said, "Yeah, President wrote me this." No, I don't know what it said.
You have done so well where Tom 60228 failed.
That's certainly a little bit creepy. The score is 2-2. We have one game left this series to decide who will be the team that goes 5-1. Will it be the United Kingdom or will it be Taiwan? We'll find out very soon. It's the matchup to end all matchups as Lorinda gives us a little wave there. Shudderwock Shaman versus Control Priest. Neil, who do you think's favoured?
I think the Shudderwock should be favoured, but we just see so many things go wrong with Shudderwock Shaman. I don't think the Taiwan team are going to make any mistakes with it, but sometimes it makes mistakes with itself.
Way back when, in I think week 1, Kallax thought he had lethal, thought he'd saved himself with the Shudderwocks, and then his opponent, because there was one less freeze, had 3 Mind Blasts and beat him. Since then, we have seen at least 1 or 2 other games where the Priest, before the Shudderwock has been ready to win, the Priest has just gone Mind Blast, Mind Blast, Mind Blast, lethal. So I agree with you on paper. I feel Like, the Shadow Walk should be favoured. But I am so conflicted because of the games I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely not a walkover for either side. I do feel if you have to give an edge, give it to the Shadow Walk, but can definitely lose. It can just take forever. Sometimes we've seen so many matches where Shadow Walk is card 29 or 30, and then it doesn't beat anything when that happens. It is very much a one-trick pony.
As we jump in to the game, Roger versus Ball Control.
Mulligan's interesting with this. How quickly do the United Kingdom want to take it? And how quickly do Taiwan want to take it as well?
So Duskbreaker has to still be helpful, right? It deals with Northshire Clerics. Oh, hang on.
Manatide Totem is the word you're looking for.
Wrong side. Okay, let's look at the correct deck list. It deals with Manatide Totems. It deals with Glacial Shards, Gluttonous Oozes, Mind Control Text.
Acolytes of Pain, yeah.
Yeah.
So much good stuff it deals with.
Just start listing priest cards. Yeah, Ball Control can deal with his own board. Fantastic.
Fantastic. That's where he gets his name from. Look at me, I can blow my own board up. Whee! Not delirious at all. Nice looking curve here from Roger. He's not happy with the pickups, but he is going to be able to at least get stuff on the board and start to draw cards pretty soon. Volcano with Acolyte of Pain, that must be good. Not a lot he can do for like 4 turns though of any use.
No, but then again, there's also not really any hurry to get there. The first few turns, the priest doesn't usually do anything anyway. It's not really until turn 4 where Twilight Drake hits the board that the games actually start. Roger's just going to start.
Yeah.
Oh.
Doesn't know.
It's very weak to a Northshire Cleric counter. But then they do have Earthshock that they could use to clean up the Cleric, I guess, if worst came to the worst.
Take that!
Wow.
Well, make space in hand for a lot later down by doing it this way, but that's interesting to me. It means that there are going to be things he can't slow down with it.
Ball Control, that's the shortest time I've ever seen a hero frozen. As Ball Control realizes, hey, I can't play Pyromancer now. I definitely don't have any choices. Just end the turn. Back to you, Taiwan.
It has made a mess of that Pyromancer, that is for sure.
I'm just thinking about Northshire Cleric, though. Cleric comes down, Shard trades, then Earthshock goes in. I guess that's not so bad.
Roger, you can't attack yourself. What's happening, Dan? That's it.
There we go. You found the right face.
Turn the tablet the other way up.
Yes, Roger, face is the place, but the other one. Not that chip damage is particularly important for Roger in this match.
No, that's why it's interesting to me they were so eager to coin it out so quickly. But it has defended against this Pyromancer very well, which has allowed the Acolyte to come down on turn 2. And I feel that's what they were going for here. But it's all going to get blown up by the Duskbreaker sooner rather than later.
Wow, Roger's just going to try and draw as many cards as possible, and it makes sense. If the Duskbreaker happens now, then Roger's in an awkward position, but he will have that Pyromancer Volcano that you referenced earlier to draw 3 more cards at some point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what both teams want to do ultimately. They've both got a long-winded, tedious, long-term combo to try and set up. So drawing cards is the combo deck's friend. And although it's been a very weird way of setting it up, Taiwan have managed to find a way to not only get a board, but if that board is dealt with, still have the Acolyte of Pain hanging around. So that Glacial Shard was a very interesting player indeed in terms of setting up this Acolyte of Pain without the Pyromancer challenging it.
I wonder what Ball's waiting for here. Like, what are the other considerations this turn?
Do nothing for 2 turns and steal the Acolyte of Pain? Not saying it's good, saying it's consideration.
I mean, there's also taking the time to talk through future turns as well. Ball Control did make his first couple turns very, very quickly, so I guess he's just decided this is the part where we slow down.
I mean, they have Northshire Cleric and Pyromancer, so that's always cause for potential huge card draw, and you might want to plan how you want to go about that.
As soon as they draw a Shadow Visions, things could speed up for Ball Control. Problem is, Roger is playing a very aggressive game of Hearthstone here. He's got Shadow Walk in hand ready to go. He just needs a Saronite and a Grumble. Zola already played, and he'll be good to go.
Other thing they can do, I mean, this has been a weird looking start from Taipei, so I think UK taking time to work out what does this mean, and what it implies is Taiwan didn't have much of their combo, because how often do you Zola and Acolyte of Pain?
Right.
How much desperate trouble are you in if you're having to do that? You haven't got a Mana Tide totem. That sort of thing. That could have been something else they were discussing last turn. Well, we don't need this to do with a Mana Tide because they haven't got one or they'd have played it by now. Because, look, you don't Zola your Acolyte. So, lots of things to discuss. None of them hugely important, but the sum total of those little bits is hugely important.
Is someone injured?
Wow. So this does allow Roger to deal with this board with a Lightning Storm or a Volcano, but that also overloads Roger, and I guess board control doesn't mind that too much.
Yeah, I think the point is you need to deal with this board, and we don't care because it's not enough. We've got the second Northside Cleric. We don't care enough about it. The waiting time for our spells to get out of this would be so long.
Taiwan's taken the bait here as well. Like they're just going to go ahead and Earthshock the Cleric, meaning that next turn if board control draw a Divine Hymn or a Shadow Visions, they should be drawing a lot of their deck. They didn't get one though.
Well, they still have the other Northside Cleric, so they have the option to draw a card. Is there anything even better though? Giggling Inventor can just cause enough nuisance to be worthy of merit. Where are you going with this? Ideally, you want to draw some cards to try and get the Mind Blast set up. Obviously, that's not fun because the Healing Rains make your life so miserable. Yeah, they're going to concentrate on trying to get that first Healing Rain used up before having to Alexstrasza.
Okay. So Volcano will clear this board if played here, which again, I don't think ball control cares too much about.
They're going to get the Volcano out of the hand before the Acolyte of Pain they know is there.
True.
Gets to do its thing. Is 3 cards denied. That might not... Well, 2 cards because you need to get 1 from the Acolyte, let's face it.
It's worth noting here that Taiwan are burning through their Battlecry cards. We've already seen a Life Drinker, Zola, MC Tech, and the Glacial Shard. So when Shadowwalk comes down, it's going to do some serious stuff by turn 9. Again, if only Roger could draw Grumble and Saronite, they would Taiwan would be in a fantastic position to go for it.
Divine Hymn just too late to be of any use.
1 card too deep, that's unfortunate.
And now the United Kingdom have got a pretty awkward looking turn ahead of them. How do they go about trying to draw more stuff? Obviously, Anduin is okay later on, but it isn't going to do a great deal. Maybe you save it for your opponents having a Shudderwock turn, blow up all those Shudderwocks if it whiffs. Is another thing they can do. Maybe Anduin just doesn't get played anytime soon at all, in fact.
It's complicated because playing Anduin is sort of what wins in the game. Like, ball control has got turn 8 Anduin into turn 9 Alexstrasza. We saw that basically win a game earlier on today.
Did have the no double Mind Blast in that particular game,
true.
though. This one doesn't have that at the moment.
It doesn't take much for United Kingdom to get there. 2 Mind Blasts drawn, or 2 Shadow Visions drawn, or 1 of each, you know? Like, they're not actually that far.
I can see why Boar doesn't want to play any of these cards right now. What if he won't?
Yeah, seems like a good call to me.
Your Cleric's not getting enough, your Divine Hymn's not healing enough. Your Shadow Priest, you've saved it because you want to take this Acolyte of Pain away from your opponents. It's not happening, but if you play the Shadow Priest, then they might. Naught Mana Keleseth, that seems like a card I would play in my deck. Trying to follow Roger's thought pattern there, the order he clicked over things.
More food for the Shadowwalk as well. Not that that's the most relevant part of Shadowwalk.
Do Shadowwalks eat Keleseths?
Good question.
Is it?
Does it just channel all the battle cries into him, or does he absorb them somehow, or I don't know.
Not quite sure how that all works out. And Boar Control's situation has been made more complicated now by the pickup of this Mind Blast. But again, I think what they're going to do here is try and get the Alexstrasza down next turn and just do so much damage. They force the Healing Rain.
Oh, Hagatha coming down on turn 8.
Yeah, they planned this last turn when they kept back the Keleseth. Make sure they've got a minion to play alongside there, Hagatha. And ice fishing is always ice fishing.
It is.
Sure, that is the only card in the whole of Shaman.
It's the only shaman spell. Yep. Certainly Hagatha's favourite hobby is fishing for some murlocs on the weekends.
Actually, fishing for murlocs.
Well, murlocs are basically fish, right?
I realise that, yeah.
I wonder.
People hate it when I say that too.
What, the murlocs are fish?
Yeah.
Why do they hate that?
It's like some sort of insult to the murlocs.
Oh.
Paul, you're a fish.
Dude, you just made him cry.
Good.
Paul's a real man. Paul has a Twitter account. Come on.
He does.
Fish don't have Twitter accounts. Actually, just...
I'm sure
Just
that
don't.
fish will have Twitter accounts somewhere. Dogs have Twitter accounts. Cats have Twitter accounts. Why wouldn't a fish have Twitter accounts? Even you've got a Twitter account, Dan.
What is that supposed to mean? Again, just don't answer that. As the second glacier shard comes down. Still missing,
Yeah.
still missing the other vital parts of the combo though, so Shadowwalk isn't quite close to winning just yet.
It's also a bit messy because they are going to want to dump these Hagatha cards. Not because they're hand control problems now, but they are looming should you keep gathering this awful, awful selection of things.
Cryostasis can be helpful. Ultimately, the fact that these cards only cost 2 is you know, it makes it more acceptable.
Well, this is nice. They're going to draw some cards. I'm going to save it for the second Acolyte next turn, though.
The overload's a bit frustrating on this one. And the reason that Taiwan played the 1-3 Acolyte as opposed to the 2-4 Acolyte is because he is worried about overdrawing cards. So,
But now, potentially, this Shadow Priest that Boar's been saving for some time as his little eyes light up
that is filthy, isn't it?
is definitely something that to consider. This is why they passed some turns ago, I feel, because they wanted to try and nab this Acolyte. They forced out that Volcano to stop it drawing the 3 cards for this situation to occur, I feel.
Well, that seems like a very clever game plan, and it's paid off if ball control still feels as though he wants to take that, and I'm not seeing the problem with it.
I think they're just considering whether to play Twilight Drake first, to be honest. Do they want to have this sort of 4-minion board and risk bad things happening with MC Tech?
Wait.
He's looking at Anduin.
He is looking at Anduin, and actually that's definitely reasonable. With 1 Mind Blast in the hand, that's 9 damage in 1 turn. He's really close to winning this game. No, okay, let's go with board control first, Anduin second.
Yeah, they know that Healing Rain's very likely to be in hand. Your opponents have drawn over half their deck, plus some extra cards on top.
There's Grumble. And grumbling back the Glacial Shard seems reasonable at the moment. Replaying that, freezing the Cabal Shadow Priest or the Primordial Drake.
And then they are getting close to be good to go.
It's just Saronite needed. But they've got Zola, but again, with no Saronite, that doesn't help, does it?
Not a great deal. Definitely something to be said for watching these teams hovering over their cards.
They've been doing it a lot recently, haven't
Yeah, they really have.
hovering over, then changing their mind, then hovering over again. That's Grumble. We might see the 3rd Glacial Shard played here.
Healing Rain first, just to get themselves out of any Mind Blast shenanigans.
Alright, so Roger, Taiwan in a slightly safer position again. However, Shadow Reaper Anduin is now looking stronger than ever before. Acolyte gets this easy trade here, and then Anduin can deal with Grumble just like that.
Or they can steal it.
Yes.
I don't know if you'd want to steal it, but you can.
Taiwan have used up a Volcano already, and there does get to a point where they just can't deal with Ball Control's board. And I think this is that point. If this Grumble is stolen, Roger just can't deal with it.
Gives you an awkward Twilight Acolyte that needs dealing with as well.
Exactly. It puts 9 more health on the board in terms of the Cabal Shadow Priest and the Twilight Acolyte, plus the 8 more health from the Grumble.
You face 1 Mind Control tech, that's all. So Shadowwalk's not going to do an amazing job there.
Yep, and Shadowwalk is unplayable before the win condition has been reached, or that's it. Again, no win condition. I don't think a tempo Shadowwalk really does much when no Saronites have been played.
So which way are they going to choose to deal with the Grumble? I like holding on to Anduin
Yeah, I agree with you.
for Shudderwock fails.
You've talked me round. I mean, this is just so much health on the board. Volcano does nothing. Volcano Lightning Storm isn't enough either.
12 cards left for Taiwan, as you can see. 2 of those cards are Chain Gangs, as you can't. Double ice fishing, by the way. Whether that was 12 ice fishings, by the way.
Hagatha's hobby.
Maybe we should put Murlocs in our Shudderwock decks.
At Burlock, it's actually reasonable.
That's a fair point.
If you're not playing Kaliseth and you'd like 2 more copies of Glacier Shard in your deck, then Burlock is okay.
Right, digging as fast as they can. They realise that the end times are upon them. Manatide number 1. It's a bit late. Well, is it late? It's another card next turn.
It is, but
How dead are they?
yeah. Took the words right out of my mouth.
They are actually dead next turn if they don't kill some of this board.
22 damage on board.
And a Mind Blast in hand.
And Fury's no good. Lightning Storm, this has to deal with the 8-3. It rolled the 2!
Oops.
So Cryostasis is buffing it back up again.
Do you know why it's called Cryostasis?
Because it's making someone cry?
Yes.
Okay. Who's it making cry?
Roger.
Okay.
Because he's got it in his hand.
I think it was actually the Lightning Storm that's made Roger cry, but
Mhm.
and it was you that made Paul cry, so everyone's crying here in the HGG studio today.
I think that's the first time you've ever guessed one of those. I'm impressed, young man.
It's not the most subtle joke, but okay.
Sottle doesn't.
I knew you'd say I knew you'd bring up subtle somehow after I said that. I cannot say the word subtle in my life ever without thinking about subtle, having someone mention subtle.
That's a pretty awkward situation to be in life.
As Dan
Gaskin's getting excitable over there.
Gaskin just wanders past the studio, points at the UK plan, waves his fist in the air. Cool. I guess, again, United Kingdom beating Taiwan is a victory for Dan Gaskin over Derek.
If they do, I mean, this Shudderwock is getting awfully close. There's only 11 cards left for Taiwan, and 2 of them are
I don't
these
know.
Town Knights. But they're so dead looking right now.
When does Taiwan ever find the time to play the cards, though, and then play Shudderwock?
They only have to deal with this enormous amount of health on board first, then they're good to go.
Great. How are they going to do that again?
Do 44 damage next turn.
Okay. Oh, and now Roger needs to heal as well. So maybe now it's just Shudderwock time. Maybe now. Roger just has to say,
Well, there's a healing rain.
it's no good that the board is... there's no dealing with the board. Shudderwock can freeze 3 minions and steal 1 and Life Drink a heal. Oh, they've only got 6 mana. What am I talking about? They can't even play Shudderwock this turn.
Yeah, that's not how 6 works. It's not looking good for Taiwan right now. Boar agrees. Oh, unstable evolution. That'll save them.
Yeah, let's get some 5 mana 1/1s.
Yeah, Roger giving Wind Fury to the Acolyte is pretty much him giving this game up.
The United Kingdom have done it. Lorinda, I don't know about you, but they have significantly surpassed my expectations this year. After their performance last year, I think they got 1 win in the first phase of the tournament.
It wasn't a performance last year, it was something that we're not allowed to say. It was just a yuck.
They then got 3-0'd, meaning that Romania was knocked out of the competition because we were in this weird position where if the United Kingdom won a single game in that series, Romania were in on tiebreakers, but it didn't happen. But now the United Kingdom are really showing what they are made of.
Yeah, a much more organised team this time around. There's a lot of, not huge amount of conflicts internally, but I think lots of different philosophies last year. And I think this time around, everybody's on the same page, all pulling together to get these wins. And it's working for them. Let's have a look how it worked for them in this match right here.
There it is. All right. Yeah, there you go. Lots of green on one side, lots of red on the other. It was a tight-knit series, though, both teams taking turns with their victories. But in the end, Ball Control really took this one away.
He did, but again, the supporting cast this time around, Jackie Chan in particular, I've given Jackie a bit of stick over the years for his fun side of Hearthstone. Only when he's playing competitively. I mean, having fun with Hearthstone is the point, but when it comes to team events and stuff like that, he still wants to play fun. I think this year, Jackie has learned when to be fun, which is 99% of the time on his stream. He has a great time, he builds good decks, messes around with that. Maybe somewhere like Seat Story, where he likes to enjoy himself a bit more. But he's learned also that in a team competition, he needs to help them out because his skill level is so high and he's really contributing to this team.
I think Jackie has a bit of an internal struggle as to whether he should be competing or whether he should be having fun. But someone who is very used to competing is Green Sheep. Let's have a chat with him. Congratulations, Green Sheep. 5 wins in the Hearthstone Global Game Swiss. The first thing I want to ask you guys, or you specifically, because you were on the team last year as well, what changed?
I mean, we have 2 different players, I guess, so that's the major change. We have Toast Monster and we have Ball Control, of course. I think while last year we did have Jamboree and we did have George C, they're both very good players, obviously. I think what changed is that we did more prep work this year, and I think our communication was greatly better than last year. Having Ball Control on the team really gives us a boost because Ball's like amazing analytical player, just does a lot of stat work. Toast Monster, of course, he's also very vocal in the team. Like Toast and Ball's probably the 2 most vocal players, and it just helps having vocal people in a team because they can just express their opinions.
Talking of that prep work, how did that go this week? Of course of playoffs, obviously interrupting things for you guys.
I mean, since me and Ball actually lost pretty early in playoffs, we had a lot of time, and yeah, we prepared a lot. We brought some weird decks, but yeah, we prepared a lot. We did a lot of stat work, brought some interesting decks that we didn't think that they'd be prepared for, and yeah, we just got that win out with some decks that we didn't have last week.
Final question then, Green Sheep, and it's a big one actually, is now top 16 guaranteed for the United Kingdom. Which teams do you hope to face off against in the elimination bracket?
So I hope to. I'm not sure who's actually made it into the bracket. Teams I want to face off against.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better to say teams I don't want to face off against.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think South Korea's still in. I heard that Germany qualified as well this week, so those are some of the teams I don't want to face. I think South Korea's actually playing the USA, so I kind of want another game against the USA because we're kind of tied with them 1-1.
Yeah.
Last year we lost, this year we won. So if we get to the chance to play the USA, I guess I want to play them again.
Yeah, South Korea versus USA is the first game tomorrow, I believe. But you would like to, in order to take down the USA, you'd like to play against them.
Yeah, I mean, we have to assert our dominance, you know?
Glad to hear it. Thank you very much, Green Sheep. Congratulations one more time. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thanks.
But then Toast Monster would have to change his bed sheets.
Toast Monster with the USA bed sheets is a little bit on the awkward side, especially if they match up against each other. Let's take a look at some of the best moments from this series, starting with Paladin just annihilating Zoo. Despicable Dreadlord's not drawn, and Ball Control, well, controlling the board.
Yeah, and long, since this seems a long time ago, but they played pretty rapidly throughout, even though the games were long. And Ball smiling is such a different person.
What is this? What does the thumbs up mean from Ball Control? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out someday.
Not so much of a thumbs up in this one, though. All these evolves were just absolutely horrendous. This one was all right.
The first one was fine, but it was these ones. The Saronite into the Fungal Mancer, and then the Saronite into the Moss Blurgy Bluggerson 1-mana 1/1.
I like the way that Toast turned away from the camera before speaking after that second one. We will never know what was said. We can only imagine.
I don't want to talk about it. Then there was Mossy Horror doing very, very aggressive things, as we predicted that the mid-range Hunter would be favoured against the Death Rattle Hunter just because of the aggressiveness of the deck and how the Death Rattle Hunter isn't very good against these aggressive decks. And hey, there you go. Jackie Chan was able to take this one nice and easily.
That was going to be mighty close if that high main had been a Grizzly, but they did get it to a situation where it's just going to be 3 hero powers. Could have been interesting anyway.
Then there was this was a long series, wasn't it? I didn't realize it was all the way to game 5. Yeah, then there was the Rogue versus the Malagas Druid, where Rogue was able to get over that mark, and I think a lot of that is attributed down to Myra's unstable element. Even though it didn't give him the ideal cards, it did give Tom what he needed to win.
Ball control forcing out that Volcano early on there allowed them to steal the Acolyte, get some cards, deny some cards, and ultimately just got them into the position where they had this monstrous board that Taiwan couldn't deal with. And the fact that Taiwan had 2 chain gangs in their bottom 10 didn't help them much either. But yeah, you're playing a 73 card combo. 1 or 2 of those pieces are allowed to be near the bottom.
72 card combo, ouch. I don't think Hearthstone's ever quite going to get there, Lorinda. Oh, and a little wave from you. That threw me off for a second there because...
I was confused because I was looking at the screen waving at myself whilst looking down. I'm not sure what's happening.
And I was talking and it wasn't in sync. Anyways, we are 4 matches down today, 2 to go. Next up is going to be my pick, the Netherlands, versus the production team's pick, Team Poland. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. You should look forward to it too after this break.